Please be advised that while anybody is more than welcome to watch this video about deep brain stimulation, I make specific reference to patients with dystonia. Furthermore, I assume you've done some research on your own prior to watching this video. And lastly, I am strictly a patient. I am in no way, shape, or form a medical professional, and thus this is not intended to be a substitute from having an informed discussion with your doctor. So I underwent deep brain stimulation for cervical dystonia roughly 9 months ago. And I can now definitively say for myself two things. That number one, it is the greatest decision I have ever made in my entire life. And number two, my only regret is I did not have it done sooner. However, that being said, I am still constantly aware of the fact that I have dystonia, and I still have to receive the neurotoxin injections for complementary therapy. Remember, DBS is not a cure. Success varies from patient to patient, so make sure you have very realistic expectations. However, one day with the right amount of awareness, it indeed will be an exact science and thus a cure. I know that I was greatly helped by an amazing DBS patient who shared her experiences with me, and thus I now feel compelled to pay it forward in a series of awareness videos of my own. So I know the idea of brain surgery can be a little bit scary. I fully admit I was afraid. So allow me to break down 2 points to you that I know will help ease your fears and anxieties. Number one, DBS is not an experimental surgery. In fact, there are lots of neurosurgeons out there who do 2 DBS procedures every single week. Number two, your brain remains intact. They are not removing or cutting any portion of your brain. Therefore, if necessary, the procedure is reversible. Deep brain stimulation is an elective surgery, meaning it is your choice. So here are a few points to consider. Number one, do not compare yourself to other patients. As a result, I am very purposely not going to show you any before and after footage of myself. Number two, it is a very long process, so make sure you are mentally prepared for the long road ahead. Remember, for dystonia patients, it could be several months after surgery before you begin to notice results. Number three, be confident in your decision. Once you've determined that DBS is right for you, do not second guess yourself and do not let anybody tell you that you're making a mistake. Like I said in the beginning, I'm assuming that you've already done some research prior to watching this video. Therefore, I'm going to jump straight to the part that I know you have the most concerns about, the part where you are fully awake. So it is not nearly as bad as it sounds. Remember, your brain itself does not feel pain, so you're not going to feel them touching or messing around with your brain. Now, the reason why you have to be awake is because they need your feedback when they determine the placement of the electrical lead. Now, during this time, they will also determine a threshold of stimulation. So you will experience immediately reversible side effects. For instance, my speech became a little bit slurred, I felt fluttering in my cheeks, my hand even cramped up. But remember, you're going to be surrounded by a team of doctors. The instant they notice a side effect, or the instant you tell them you're experiencing a side effect, they'll turn the stimulation down and you'll be back to normal. Trust me, you are in very good hands. And to be perfectly honest, I actually found a standard dental cleaning to be more uncomfortable than fully awake brain surgery. So part two is where they put the implantable pulse generator inside of your chest and then connect that to the electrodes inside your brain via a wire that runs up and down your neck. So I will admit that after part two, your chest will be a little bit sore, and any type of activity you do that would engage those chest muscles, so anything that would be like gripping, holding a pen or pencil, even using a computer mouse, might irritate the chest a little bit. It's not going to be anything unbearable. I just would not recommend giving anybody a very firm handshake for a week or two. But remember, pain and recovery is highly subjective, so it will absolutely vary from patient to patient. So at this point, you've been through a lot. You've already reached 2 major milestones, but your DBS journey is not yet over. Soon you will be in the next phase, which is the programming sessions. Now, these are the parts in which they're going to be adjusting the stimulation that goes to your brain. It is critical to remain both patient and positive during this portion of your DBS journey. So I went in twice a month for the first few months. Then it was one session a month. Now I believe I'm at the point where it'll be one session every 2 months, and the gap will just keep getting longer and longer. Also note that during these programming sessions, like you did during the surgery, you will experience some immediately reversible side effects. Again, just like in surgery, the instant you tell them you're experiencing a side effect, or the instant they notice a side effect, they'll turn on that simulation and you'll be back to normal. Another thing you want to keep in mind is that no two DBS patients are alike. So what might work for one patient in 2 months might take another patient 12 months. So if your results are slow, don't second guess yourself. You've made it this far. I know that you can keep going forward. So it's crazy to say, but at this point, I am a real live bionic man. So let me tell you a little bit about my hardware. So on the top of the head, this is where they implant the electrodes during part 1 of the surgery. You will be able to feel a little bit of a bump. And as you trace from that bump, you can start to feel the wire that will run down the back of your head and then into your neck. You'll notice there's a little bit of a scar there. They have to cut my neck because I have a very long neck when they're maneuvering that wire down, but they don't typically have to do that. So that wire will then run into the chest where you have your implantable pulse generator from part 2. There's a little bit of a protrusion. You will also notice a little bit of a scar. The wire you can notice a little bit as well, but honestly, nobody's going to have any idea what it is, and even if they do see something, they'll probably just assume that it's a vein. It's crazy to say also that despite the fact you have an implantable pulse generator in your chest connected to electrodes in your brain via a wire that runs up and down your neck, aside from when you actually touch them, you'd never even know they're there. And likewise, you don't feel, even the fact that your brain is being stimulated with electricity, you don't feel the fact that there's electricity running through your body. So I'll take a minute here to show you the DBS programming device that you use. Now, don't try this one at home. You definitely want to talk to your doctor about this, but I'll at least just show you what it looks like. So basically, it does all the communication between this device and the battery pack inside of your chest. So you just turn it on like this, and it'll tell you to check the charge, which you do. And so it'll say on and OK, which means the battery pack is working and the brain is being properly stimulated. Other than that, I'm not really going to go into too much detail with this because there's a lot of technical jargon that I don't even want to begin to start to talk about. Again, like I said, I'm a patient. I'm not a medical professional. Definitely want to talk to your doctor about the programming device, but again, I thought it would just be helpful to at least show you what it's going to be like. So I know that DBS can be a long process and at times it can be stressful, but look at it this way. You are already living with dystonia or a movement disorder. That means you are fearless and courageous to begin with. So I guarantee you, any discomfort that you may or may not experience as a result of DBS is absolutely nothing compared to what you've already been through. I've gone through DBS, thousands of other patients have done it. I know that you can too. I know living with dystonia or a movement disorder is tough, and there's times where it seems like there's no escape, but you're not alone. And if you are feeling particularly anxious or depressed, there is absolutely no shame in talking to your doctor. They are there to help. So please keep watching. I will continue to be posting videos on advocacy, awareness, and any other tips I might have on how to navigate the labyrinth of the healthcare system.